Hi friends! So I have my monthly budget report for a very exciting month considering that I'm debt free. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Ah. Okay, want to see how I did it? Let's do it. Okay, let's go over here in the notes category. I just mentioned because I do plan on doing a cost of living comparison between Arkansas and Texas, at least, the places I live, my bills. And so I made notes here that moving here eliminated my gas, water, lawn, and internet fees because I have all of those things included now and I don't have a loan anymore. Everything's electric here. So here I just pay for rent and electrical. And that came out to a total of $167 per month. Next up, I eliminated the fitness budget. That will go back in next month's budget in June, but for the first month here, I didn't have a gym or exercise class or anything like that I was paying for. My rent did come up from $400 to $665, so it was an increase of $265 per month. But if you take out like the cost over here, that just of the things I eliminated, this isn't including electricity at all, that's really only $100 more, $167 to $265. So that I found pretty cool. I did up my electrical budget because I am expecting electricity to be higher here. And I got my first little paycheck from work here. It was only for a week, but out of that, $67.38 went to the teacher retirement account that I enrolled in. So that's just a note there that won't really affect this month's budget, though. My last gas bill from Mina here came in, and that cost $14.63. Also, I had a friend's car was towed from my complex. I argued it. If you want to hear that whole story, I did a 7 frugal things, my most recent one, and that explains that whole story. But I did have to pay almost $150 for the towing of my car. And so the total of these extra bills was $157.33, and you'll see that number later. There was one thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot about because I don't normally have to say like where my income comes from here. And many of y'all were wondering what happened to the $2,000 moving fund that I got reimbursed by my new work. So I'd saved the $2,000 moving fund to use to move when I was planning on moving from Mina. I used it for that, and then work reimbursed me. And many of y'all were wondering why I didn't go ahead and put that at debt. Now, here's the thing. Texas A&M pays its employees once a month on the first of the month. So essentially, I decided I wanted to get a month ahead because you can't wait to get your paycheck for May until June 1st. So the $2,000, which is why over here I use essentially the same 2021 that I had in Mina, which was my income. I used the $2,000 to get a month ahead. So now that I've been paid June 1st, for May, I'm using that money to fund June. And then June's check will fund July, etc. So that moving fund has been super, super, super helpful because not only did it help me move, but then it was allowed me to get a month ahead when I didn't really get paid. I started work April 24th, and I got paid for a week of work on May 1, but that check wasn't enough to cover all of my expenses for May. So thankfully, I had the $2,000 emergency fund or moving fund, and I didn't have to dip into my savings to live in May because I wasn't getting paid for my old work anymore, and I wouldn't get paid for the work I was doing until June 1 for May. So that is where that money went. Let's go over to my main box. Savings normal. Rent, like I said, was up this month. Car insurance was the same. Phone was the same. See, the internet line is gone here. Electrical was $48.77. Now that was just for a partial month, so I'm trying to extrapolate that a little bit to estimate what next month's might be. Also, it's Texas and it's the summer, so I'd rather overestimate than underestimate. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek at my proposed June budget soon. I actually plan on filming that right after I film this. So next up, I did go over on groceries, which I kind of expected. You know, you're new in town, you're getting used to, because this was my first full month here. I moved here at the end of April, and so this was my first full month here. And one, I'm very excited that I have Aldi and H-E-B now, and so I'm trying new things, and you know, some things don't work, and other things I'm like, oh, this is so good, I need to eat so much of it. So I wasn't tracking my meals and my meal planning quite as much, or much really at all. You'll see it was the same in restaurant. And so I have quite a few trips to the grocery store in May, and it ended up being $67.93 over what I had budgeted. So in future months, I will get my grocery budget back on track, I swear, but I just couldn't really get that mad at myself this month because, one, I was restocking because I tried to use up everything that I had like in my freezer before I left Mina, and then now as I'm finding deals, I'm kind of restocking my freezer here, restocking my pantry, so it's okay. It'll work out. Next up, didn't have any medical costs this month. I spent $9 at the laundromat. I spent $20 on gas because I think I still had a tank. I filled up my tank right at the end of April, so it didn't cost that much, and I really need to go get gas now. I need to get back into the routine. So I used to fill up every Sunday if I had less than half a tank, and so I always had a full tank, and I didn't worry about gas so much. Next up, restaurant spending, super huge. I ate out a lot. Now, part of this is because I am dating here a little bit, and I don't think that it's just my the guy's responsibility to pay. So if he buys dinner, I'll buy, drinks or something like that, or I'll leave a tip. And so I'm going out and socializing. I'm also meeting up with new friends that I'm making here and kind of getting to know them out in like a restaurant setting. So my restaurant budget was, well, obviously it almost quadrupled what my set budget was. I also didn't change the numbers around really this month. I knew I'd spend more on restaurants. And in future budgets, now that I'm debt free, it's going to be a higher number, essentially. But yes, I ate out a bunch. And part of that was settling in, part of that was dating, part of that was meeting new friends for food. It is what it is. Alrighty. And that's not to say that you shouldn't like keep that under control even if you're in a new place, but I kind of anticipated that I would be spending more, and I knew I was overspending in that category, and I was just choosing to do so anyway, partly because I knew I'd be debt free during this month, and that it wasn't going to be awful if I didn't have way more than I needed to put to debt to get rid of the debt, because I knew I'd have enough to get rid of the debt. All right, kind of same thing in personal spending. I went over. I did actually increase this category this month. Normally this is $50. I upped it to $340 because I had to purchase a bike. I might have bought a little bit more bike than I needed. I ended up going the bike shop route and buying a used bike from a local bike shop, which will then service that bike for the life of it for free instead of going like the Walmart $80 bike route. I instead spent $200 on a bike. Also got like a basket, a lock, a more comfortable seat, that kind of thing, and that added up really fast. It cost almost $300 total for the bike, or $250. I'm sorry, $250 for the bike. And I'm okay with that because if I take care of that bike, it's going to last me for at least 10 years. And also because it's such a good quality bike, if I decide that I don't need it anymore, I can sell it. Probably not for as much as I spent on it, but I can recoup some of that investment. So once again, I might have bought a little more bike than I could afford, but I'm okay with it. We can call it just kind of an investment. And it really saved my butt having to travel around campus a lot during the last month of the school year because I had to go around campus a lot. And campus is huge, and you really need a bike there. And I tried waiting to find a deal, and I just couldn't, and I got sick of just taking forever to walk everywhere and being so hot and so exhausted. So did that. I also got a blanket and a nightgown at TJ Maxx. I went garage sailing and got a little cast iron oven. I had to put $2.50 on a Groupon gift card just to round up. That was a gift for a friend. And I did buy my new hangers for my closet, which I'm very excited about. I upgraded from old plastic hangers that I'd had since college to some pretty velvet ones, and it was just a really nice lifestyle upgrade. I did a video on it if you're interested. All right, I spent $5 at Dollar Tree and did not say what it was for. Also, I got a chair for my patio, a little patio chair and a doormat at Aldi for about $40. That was actually my under 5K reward. And so that I just stuck that in this category because it needed to go here. I'd actually budgeted a lot more for that. Originally, I was planning on spending about $100 on a patio chair, but I couldn't find one that I liked. And then I found one for $25 at Aldi, and at the very least, it'll do for probably a year or two until I find something a little more substantial that I like. And I really love the patio chair that I got. So I don't have a problem at all with what I ended up spending on that. All right, let's see. Next up, as you can see, only $57.52 made it out of the budget up here. That's it, because I went over on so many things. I was not able to put all $430 that I had allocated for my student loans this month there, but don't worry about it because my YouTube money ended up paying for the very last bit of my student loans, and I knew that would happen. So I was okay with spending just a little more because I knew I didn't need all the money that I had ready to allocate to the student loans because I didn't have that much debt left. Yay! So $57.52 was budgeted. I made $958.95 on YouTube, and I spent $5.10 on some postcard stamps, equals $953.85 that I was able to put to debt. Next up, my Deals to Meals affiliate got me $12. I got a $45.10 refund from the city water department in Mena. Apparently, I put a deposit down, and then they took my last month's bill out of that, and this was what was left. I also got a residual check or something from my job in Mena, maybe like a vacation day or something that I hadn't cashed in. That was for $61.44. I got $32 in gifts, and then I got $110 from a refund from my electric company. So there's that. And let's see, and then here's where I took out the $157 for the car tow and the gas bill. So my total here was $1,114.91. I only needed $1,000 to get rid of the last of my debt. It was actually $998.74, but then when I checked what actually came, that was the payoff amount. But then when I checked what they actually took, because it took until Wednesday to process instead of money, they took out $1,000. So maybe they charged me interest during the processing time or something. I don't care. I just want them out of my lives. So I'm calling it $1,000 because that's what came out of my bank account. Let's see. So there's $998 left. And I'd already had $213.85 come out earlier in the month for my minimum payment. So I ended up paying $1,213.85 to my debt, becoming debt-free! Yes! If you haven't checked out my video doing the live payoff, I would love for you to. It's really, really fun. And after all of that, I had $114.91 left over that I am putting to my fully funded emergency fund, which is not fully funded yet, but that is what I am building towards. So I will definitely give you updates on that in the future, but May 2017, I was able to pay off my debt and start funding my emergency fund a little bit, as well as getting some cool kind of settle-in stuff for my home and stuff that I can use here in Texas, like my bike and a little patio chair and stuff like that. So I think it was a pretty stinking good month, and I'm giving myself a high five for it because I deserve it, and Rory's good at high fives, but she can't reach where I am. All right, I would love to hear how you did in May of 2017, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.